Hi there, it's Rob Jolliffe. It is time for another virtual demo of Microsoft Dynamics NAV, and in this case I'm going to start covering some of the production manufacturing features. So let's take a look at what NAV can do for production manufacturing, and I think this is worthy of just a little brief introduction. I often am asked, is NAV capable of doing the type of manufacturing we do in our business? And there's only been a couple of cases where I've seen that the business does some sorts of manufacturing that the NAV system can't handle right out of the box. But typically, even in those cases, there's different kinds of add-ons and capabilities that allow it. NAV's manufacturing system is very well defined for a manufacturing company that produces a product, a multi-level bill of material, multiple routings and operations that go into it, collecting the time, determining what the costs are, etc. So let's take a look at that. And what we're going to do is we're going to jump into NAV now and look at some of the bill of material and costing capabilities of the system. Okay, so here we are in Dynamics NAV, and I've logged in with the Production Planners Role Center because I think that gives us a good overview of different things that we can look at for what the capabilities, the manufacturing capabilities of NAV are. So we have it within NAV when we're in a production environment, we use something called a production order. So if I drill down into released production orders, I'm going to be able to see a list of the different production orders that we're planning on making. So we'll take a look at a bicycle, for instance. So this is a production order for a bicycle. If I drill down into it, I'm going to see that it's for a quantity of 27 bicycles, that it's due on the 1st or the 31st of January 2018. I can see which item it's building, and one of the interesting features of production orders in NAV is I can have multiple lines. So I can actually release what's called a project production order, which will allow me to produce not just the bicycle, but its subcomponents. So let's go take a look at the bicycle. I'm just going to go back to the main page. I'm going to select the list of the items. And in this case, what I want to see is I want to see produced items. So I'll click on produced here, which gives me a list of the different items that basically have a bill of material. And I'll jump into the bicycle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate and look at the entire structure of a bicycle. So let's just click on structure here, and it's going to generate the bicycle's manufacturing structure. So I'll expand that out, and what I can see is I can see that to build a bicycle, I need one front wheel, one back wheel, one chain, a mud guard, etc., etc. Now some of these are bold, so the brake, front wheel, chain assembly are bold. So let me open up a front wheel. So front wheel requires a rim, spokes, and a front hub, as well as a tire and tube. If I explode the front hub, I'm going to find that a front hub requires the axle front wheel and the socket front. It's also got some CNC machining, machine deburring, drilling, etc., and an assembly activity that's done to it. So I can expand the entire bicycle. So click the expand all button. And what I get is I get an entire exploded bill of material and production routing for a bicycle that includes everything that I'm going to need in order to make that bicycle. Now, ultimately, the bicycle itself is just a top-level item that has an individual bill of material. So let's go back and we're going to look at the production orders. So I'm going to drill down into that production order. Let's drill down into it. I'm going to just show the document. So there's my production order that we were looking at earlier. And what I could do is I can look at the components that go into making a bicycle. So here's the components. Now, in this case, there's one per. I'm making 27 bicycles, so I need 27 of each of them. But you'll notice the front wheel, back wheel. This is a flat bill of material, so this isn't indented. What I was viewing earlier was I was viewing a preview of entire bill of material structure in a bicycle. So if we go back, actually, let's go back to the item again really quickly, and we're going to go in here and we're going to look at the different types of manufacturing we can do. We can do assemblies, we can do production. We can also calculate the standard cost of a bicycle. So if I click on that and I want to do an all-level calculation of standard cost, what the system is going to do is it's going to go through and it's going to recalculate what the standard cost of a bicycle is based on looking at all of the underlying requirements and hours, the time, the machines that it runs on, all the materials, and it's going to roll that up from every component, and it's going to give me what the standard cost to manufacture that bicycle will be. And I can also, there's a standard cost worksheet, which I can use to take a look at that standard cost and how it's arrived at. I can look at cost shares of that to see where are all these costs accumulating from. So what are these rolled up costs? Where do they come from? Which component, which area of it is it accumulating a cost? So basically the Dynamics NAV system gives me a very, very clean bill of material structure where I can also put on the hours that it requires in order to produce a bill of material. It, so the CNC machining time, etc. I can run reports and I can see a distribution of the costs, how those costs are rolling up into that finished bicycle, and I can see the entire breakdown of the structure of the whole job, either just to look at the structure of the job or to look at the material costs as they roll up. Next, let's take a look at material planning for production.